Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4. We have a lot to talk about in what is my favorite episode so far of this show. Let's get right into it, guys. Agent Jack, I'm throwing it to you first. How do you feel
Oh,
about episode 4 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
wow. I guess if we take away from the ending, this episode was just full of not just action, but just there was a lot of layers in here from even from the beginning where because I know the ending is going to be really the conversation we talk about. That's really the the big highlight. But that beginning was actually really solid too, where we talk about Bucky, where he's on Wakanda,
Yeah,
and I always mix her name up, but she removes those sayings, those words that easily trigger him.
it was AO in this episode.
Ayo, I always mix a name, but Ayo, she removed the words that easily trigger him, which makes you kind of wish, wow, I wish we had that in the world for real right about now. But these words that easily can trigger him and turn him into the Winter Soldier, and
Yeah.
she removed it, and that was a really powerful scene.
hmm
From all that you saw, how powerful that episode is. Like you see the tear flowing down because he wanted to get rid of that for a long period of time. He wanted to be a better person, and now to see and when she says you're free, and you just see him go like it's a really good episode. I agree with you. I think this episode, which there's 2 more episodes, correct?
Yes.
So you sit here and go like, wow, how are they going to top the next 2 episodes? How are they going to top this episode? Because episode 4 really laid in a lot of stuff, layers.
Yeah.
Great episode.
So, Dora Viclaje, let's throw it over to you.
Number one, I love how Ayo took off Bucky's arm.
That was so cool.
That was so bad.
Crazy. That was crazy. She straight up made him completely vulnerable. Like that was insane. So that the storytelling behind that to me is like, what else does she know?
Right.
Listen, I hit you with a couple of and mind you, and Falcon even asked, "Did you know she could do that?" No. While he's putting his arm back on, no. So that I love. Just the story behind that and the storytelling with everything in that is just beautiful because clearly we're going to see more about Bucky's time in Wakanda because until now, the only thing that we've seen is just the end credits of a movie.
Yeah.
So like all of that, I'm loving.
Yeah. This episode I thought was I said this already. Fantastic episode. I love the nuances they threw in there. They let Anthony Mackie act his ass off in that scene with Carly. Fantastic.
Ooh, yes.
This was top tier Marvel quality. This is Marvel showing that they can make very good quality television movies. It's not just action. They can tell a very compelling story. We learned a lot more about Carly's intentions. She is a good guy that does bad things. And Sam even said that in that conversation, right? He says that I am on your side, but you're doing it the wrong way. It's the story they're telling here of these extremists that, yes, they are fighting for what is right, but they are doing it the wrong way.
Right.
Reminds me of what Thanos did, but they humanize them much more. They make you feel sympathetic for these people. They make you cheer for the villains. And when you can cheer for the villains in this type of story, that makes it a fantastic quality story. You should be able to cheer for them. And I love a villain that you can relate to. I love it. It makes me much more invested. So, guys, what do you feel about this? How do you feel about Carly's backstory here, learning more about her intentions and overall about what the Flag Smashers are here to do?
This is where, like you said it all, and you nailed it all in the head. Marvel, it's layers. So she could have been a traditional bad guy. Oh, look, I just want to blow something. But it just showed you that her reasons are obviously she have good intentions, but the way of doing everything is off. Which you said Thanos, but I also mentioned Killmonger. There's a lot of villains you really can go down to, and they're like, I wouldn't agree on how they did stuff because I'm not. I mean, look, I agree, but killing people, I'm not on that team. I'm not on team kill people. So, but I do think that I do like that they showed layers into her to show that, and I like also too, and I love how you mentioned that, like Anthony Mackie, he that conversation that he was having with her, which I think was going smoothly, and it always upsets me because you have John who wants to be Captain America so badly. He's working. I mean, he's getting He reminded me of a 5-year-old. Like if you tell them to sit, they start standing and hopping all over the place. Had no patience and none of that. I thought that scene was really good about her. Just to get back to the conversation about Carly, I'm interested in seeing how much further. I'm interested in seeing if Sam can get to her, like get to her, meaning like, hey, you understand what you're doing? Because even there's something he says, and she says something, and he said, He said, no, you tricked me into saying it like that.
But what I like everything that's going on over here with her, right? Because number one, it makes you feel like they're setting her up for a long babyface run, but then they kill her, but then they kill her friend, and now they're setting her up to have a hardcore heel turn, right? Because they see that she's a good person, and Falcon is getting really close to making her turn because she has power. So she could be like a young Avenger. She could end up being something huge because already we're invested in this character. We're going to want to see more in the future. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like Falcon is going to be successful because she feels good. However, she killed Cap's boy.
Oh man, yeah. Let's get into that.
In return, her boy got killed.
Yeah,
right?
Let's get into that. Let's get into that scene.
She's gonna be hardcore, emotional, like a guy from Nam. So it's gonna be insane. This heel turn that she's going to do right now is gonna be incredible. She's going to be like the juggernaut, beating everybody up. I'm here for it.
We have a fantastic fight scene in Zemo's little hideaway house between the Dora Viclaje and Falcon, Winter Soldier, Battlestar, and John Walker, New Captain America, U.S. Agent, whatever they're calling him. And in that scene, I mentioned quickly, Zemo escapes through the sewers. I forgot what they said that he pulled an El Chapo on them. So very that was probably my favorite line of the episode. But this was an awesome scene. This showed how cool the Dora Milaje are. That they just whooped all of these Avengers. These are two former Avengers, basically, that they just destroyed. Plus the new Captain America and a top military man in Battlestar. This was so cool.
It really was. It really was.
It was a great scene.
The fact that they busted ass that way, wow, impressive. It just makes me want to see more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this was a really great scene. I mean, it showed you how much more advanced the Wakandians was. I mean, even after this fight, we see John Walker. He says they're not even super soldiers.
Yeah,
like you sure? And also, too, I mean, there's a scene that we should throw in here, real quick. When I forgot how, but when Zemo, because I don't think Zemo's getting enough acknowledgement in this episode, but when he saw the super soldier syndromes and how he stepped on all of them, majority of them, and then you have John who throws the and I gotta say he's very good at throwing the shield, especially he threw a shield at this man's head, so that's an instant concussion. And you see him take that because I think that's a real big part of this episode too, where he has the serum, because that's going to play on later on in this episode. But Zemo, I don't know. Zemo come off the last 2 episodes. He's really come off very cool. Like he's come off like that really cool bad guy. Because even when they're fighting, you see him. He might have been drinking tea. But because it's me, I think he was drinking Tito's, and he was sitting there as he was having a drink or two. He looked at everybody. He went into the bathroom. I said, "No, he don't have to use the bathroom because you don't have to use the bathroom." So when he disappeared, I thought it was great. So Zemo, I think he should get some acknowledgement in this episode as well because he's out there at large.
They have built Zemo so well based off of how weak he was in Civil War. They have corrected that character in such a way I did not think possible. Vic, I know you got some outstanding thoughts about this ending. Ooh. Talk about it, man.
Ooh, can't wait to hear it.
Yo, this ending is the hook. This ending is this ending, I think, in my opinion, is the most important part of this entire show. The reason why I say that is because it is the moment that he kills the main opposition, and that and he uses the shield. And in the end, he's holding the shield covered in blood. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that. And the fact is that is the new Cap doing that, meaning that he took the serum, and that is showing you exactly the side that he turns into. So I am very, very interested in seeing this new Cap and what develops from him. You know why? Because this right here, what separates him from Steve Rogers.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a line by Lamar in this episode that plays so well to what they were trying to accomplish, and they accomplished it in a way that I did not think possible in a Marvel show. And he says that the serum makes you more of what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, Walker, he gets that last serum, and he asks Lamar if he would take it, and he says yes. And he says that's why Steve became who he was. That's why Steve was such a good person. And Zemo even mentioned this early in the episode. As he says that if you will become an extremist if you take or a supremacist by taking the super soldier serum. Steve was the only person that did not do that. Everybody else did. And they build on this through this Lamar scene where Lamar says it makes you become more of who you are. And that's why when Walker takes it, Walker tried not to use it, but he realizes that he can only become Captain America. He can only truly win if he takes the serum. Yet he still loses. His best friend still dies. And that is why he loses his mind and kills that guy. Because Walker in this episode realizes that no matter what he does, he cannot become Steve Rogers. He is himself, who is not as good as Steve Rogers, not as good of a person as Steve Rogers, a more corrupted soul than Steve Rogers. He cannot be that person. It was amazing. I'm sorry that you guys had to indulge in me for a second there.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Mini tangent. Agent Jack, how do you feel about this ending here?
Oh my God, this ending! I watched this episode twice because it is one of my favorite episodes. Matter of fact, I was watching something because we're getting a little delay here on putting this episode out, but someone mentioned I was watching something and they mentioned the scene where John lifts up the shield and he's crushing this dude. It's kind of a callback to Civil War because if you think about it, Steve did that with Tony, but he never. Obviously, he could have, but he chose not to. Instead, he went for his reactor, just to shut down the whole fight. This scene was so. I used the word powerful one time, and that was the wrong word. But the scene was very intense. I mean, from the scene, the part of his partner Lamar dying, and he hops out the window, and the music goes, like that. And they intensify the music. Like there's no more audio. You knew something was gonna happen. It makes you wonder if this episode, I mean, not even this episode, but this series in general, is this the last we see of John Walker? I think now that because it's established at this
I'm gonna spoil that by saying no. They have released the trailers for episode 5. So
no. I understand that. I mean, I know there's 5, and I get, but I'm saying we will see more of him outside of the series, meaning.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying he's someone that they should keep building on because he really does become off like a really fun. It's coming from me, but he comes off like a great bad guy, and I think that this scene, like when you see him and you see the bloody shield, and in my head I said, "Wow." I don't know if this was ever mentioned, but it's like there's blood on that shield. And now it's going to be up to, because let's be real, spoiler, we know Sam is going to get the shield. And how is he going to clean up that shield? Because now it's literally blood on that shield. I just thought this scene was, I mean, when I saw it, I said, wow.
I'm going to end this. We always end with asking some sort of cliffhanger. We are supposed to be finding out who the power broker is in episode 5. Let's all give our guesses. I'll go last. Agent Jack, let's have you go first. Who is the power broker?
Oh wow. I'll go last, but just throw it my way. Who do I think it is? I think it's Waldo from Where's Waldo. Now, I'm beginning to think it might be. I'm starting to kind of think it's. I don't think it's her, but if I had to think of a name, I'm just gonna say Sharon. I almost said Sharon Stone. Sharon Carter.
Vic.
The power broker. It's got to be somebody that, I mean, honestly, I would be surprised if it's Loki.
An interesting one.
That's interesting.
I'm going to go based off of rumors I've heard over the last year or so. I'm picking Yelena, Black Widow's sister, which we were seeing in the Black Widow movie in early July. We had heard rumors that she was in the show. We have not seen her yet. We have also heard rumors that this show directly tied to Black Widow, which is why they wanted to delay this. They wanted Black Widow before this show and did not happen because of the slate, unfortunately. I believe that that is who the power broker is. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been the Winter Kaden. He has been Agent Jack. He has been the Dora Viclaje. Thank you guys for joining us on episode 4 of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Join us next week on episode 5. We got 2 more episodes left, and we'll see you guys later.